That which my Lord Archon now minded most was the agrarian, upon which debate he incessantly thrust the Senate and the Council of State, to the end it might be planted upon some firm root, as the main point and basis of perpetuity unto the commonwealth. And these are some of the most remarkable passages that happened in the first year of this government. About the latter end of the second, the army was disbanded, but the taxes continued at £30,000 a month for 3 years and a half, by which means a piece of artillery was planted and a portion of land to the value of £50 a year purchased, for the maintenance of the games and the prize arms forever in each 100. With the 11th year of the Commonwealth, the term of the excise allotted for the maintenance of the Senate and the people and for the raising of a public revenue expired, by which time the exchequer, over and above the annual salaries amounting unto £300,000, accumulating every year, but of 1 million income, £700,000 in banco, brought it with a product of the sum, rising to about 8 millions in the whole, whereby at several times they had purchased unto the Senate and the people £400,000 per annum, solid revenue, which, besides the lands holden in Panopea, together with the prerequisites of either province, was held sufficient for a public revenue. Nevertheless, taxes being now wholly taken off, the excise of no great burden, and many specious advantages not vainly proposed in the heightening of the public revenue, the excise was very cheerfully established by the Senate and the people for the term of 10 years longer. And the same course being taken, the public revenue was found in the 1/20th of the Commonwealth to be worth 1 million in good land. Whereupon the excise was so abolished for the present, as withal resolved to be the best, the most fruitful, and easy way of raising taxes, according unto future exigencies. But the revenue, now such as was able to be a yearly purchaser, gave it jealously that by this means the balance of the Commonwealth, consisting in private fortunes, might be eaten out. Whence this year is famous for that law whereby the Senate and the people, forbidding any farther purchases of lands unto the public within the dominions of Oceana and the adjacent provinces, but the agrarian upon the Commonwealth herself. These increases are things which men addicted unto monarchy deride as impossible, whereby they unwarily urge a strong argument against that which they would defend, for having their eyes fixed upon the pomp of expense, by which not only every child of a king being a prince exhausteth his father's coffers, but favorites and servile spirits, devoted unto the flattery of those princes, grow insolent and profuse, returning a fit gratitude unto their masters, whom while they hold it honorable to deceive, they suck and keep eternally poor. It follows that they do not know, or do not see, how it should be possible for a commonwealth to clothe herself in purple, and thrive so strangely upon that which would make a prince's hair grow through his hood, and not afford him bread, as if it were a miracle that a careless and prodigal man would bring £10,000 a year to nothing, or that an industrious and frugal man brings a little unto £10,000 a year. But the fruit of a man's industry and frugality can never be like that of a commonwealth. First, because the greatness of the increase follows the greatness of the stock or principal, and secondly, because a frugal father is for the most part succeeded by a lavish son, whereas a commonwealth is her own heir. This year, a part was proposed by the Right Honorable Arias de Woolsack, in the tribe of Pecus, first commissioner of the Treasury, unto the Council of State, which soon after passed the ballot of the Senate and the people, by which the lands of the public revenue amounting unto 1,000,000 were equally divided into 5,000 lots, entered by their names and parcels into a lot book, preserved in the exchequer. And if any orphan, being a maid, should cast her estate into the exchequer for £1,400, the treasury was bound by the law to pay her quarterly £200 a year, free from taxes for her life, and to assign her a lot for her security. If she married, her husband was neither to take out the principal without her consent, acknowledged by herself unto one of the commissioners of the treasury, who, according as he found it to be free or forced, was to allow or disallow of it, nor any other way engage it than to her proper use. But if the principal were taken out, the treasury was not bound to repay any more of it than £1,000, nor might be repaid at any time, save within the first year of the marriage. The like was to be done by a half or quarter lot, respectively. This was bound to be a great charity unto the weaker sex, and, as some say who are more skillful in like affairs than myself, of good profit to the commonwealth. Now began the native spleen of Oceana to be much purged, and men not to affect sullenness and pedantism. The elders could remember that they had been youth. Wit and gallantry were so far from being thought crimes in themselves that care was taken to preserve their innocence, for which cause it was proposed unto the council of religion by the right honorable Cateschus de Claro in the tribe of Stamnum, first censor, that which women, as living in gallantry and view about the town, were of evil fame, and could not show that they were maintained by their own estates or industry, or such as, having estates of their own, were yet wasteful in their way of life unto others, should be obnoxious unto the animadversion of the council of religion or of the censors, in which the proceedings should be after this manner. Notice should be first given of the scandal unto the party offending in private, if there were no amendment within the space of 6 months. She should be summoned and rebuked before and the said council or censors, and if after other 6 months it were found that neither this availed, she should be censured not to appear at any public meetings, games, or recreations, upon penalty of being taken up by the doorkeepers or guards of the Senate, and by them to be detained until for every such offense £5 were duly paid for her enlargement. Furthermore, if any common strumpet should be found, or any scurrility or profaneness represented at either of the theaters, the prelates for every such offense should be fined £20 by the said council, and the poet for every such offense on his part should be whipped. This law relates unto another, which also was enacted the same year upon this occasion. The youth and wits of the academy having put the business so home in the defense of comedies, that the provost had nothing but the consequences provided against by the foregoing law to object, prevailed so far that 2 of the provosts of the council of state joined in a proposition, which after much ado came to a law, whereby £100,000 was allotted for the building of 2 theaters, one on each side of the piazza of the Halo, and 2 annual magistrates called prelates, chosen out of the knights, were added unto the tropic, the one called the prelate of the Buskin, for inspection of the tragic scene called Melpomene, and the other the prelate of the Sac, for the comic called Thalia, which magistrates had each of them £500 a year allowed out of the profits of the theatres, the rest, except £800 a year to 4 poets, payable into the exchequer. A poet laureate created in one of these theatres by the strategist receives a wreath of £500 in gold, paid out of the said profits, but no man is capable of this creation that had not 2 parts in 3 of the suffrage at the Academy, assembled after 6 weeks' warning, and upon that occasion. These things among us are sure to be censured, but by such only as do not know the nature of a commonwealth, for to tell men that they are free, and yet to curb the genius of a people in a lawful recreation unto which they are naturally inclined, is to tell a tale of a tub. I have heard the Protestant ministers in France, by men that were wise and of their own profession, much blamed in that they forbade dancing, a recreation to which the genius of that air is so inclining that they lost many who would not lose that, nor do they less than blame the former determination of rashness, who now gently connive at that which they had so roughly forbidden. These sports in Oceana are so governed that they are pleasing for private diversion and profitable unto the public, for the theatres soon defrayed their own charge, and now bring in a good revenue. All this so far from the detriment of virtue, that it is to the improvement of it. Seeing women that heretofore made havoc of their honours, that they might have their pleasures, are now incapable of their pleasures, if they lose their honours. About the 41st year of the Commonwealth, the censors, according unto their annual custom, reported the pillar of Nilus, by which it was found that the people were increased very near 1/3. Whereupon the council of war was appointed by the Senate to bring in a state of war, and the treasuries, the state of, and the treasurers, the state of the treasury. The state of war, or pay and charge of an army, was soon after exhibited by the council in this account.